On October 17, 2015, WBA belt holder Gennady Triple G Golovkin would have a unification bout against IBF belt holder David Lemieux. There was 20,548 in attendance, and it sold 150,000 pay-per-view buys on HBO. Gennady Golovkin was 33-0 with 30 knockouts. He came in with 20 straight knockouts in a row and had all knockouts in his 14 previous title defenses. He was 33.5 years old. David Lemieux was 34-2 with 31 knockouts, and he was 2 months shy of his 27th birthday. But with the introductions out of the way, let's get to the fight.
The official attendance at the Garden tonight, and here we go.
When the bell rung, both men would meet in the middle of the ring. Lemieux would throw a 1-2 that Golovkin leaned away from, and then Gennady started throwing his jab. Lemieux is a very strong guy physically and a devastating puncher, so Triple G wasn't stalking him or cutting the ring off on him like he does with most opponents. He was just in the middle of the ring, staying cautious while using his jab to keep the distance. Speaking of the jab, Gennady would throw 30 jabs before he throws his first power punch, and yes, I counted. The few times Lemieux came in to punch, Golovkin would snap his head back with the jab. With a minute left, Triple G would throw a counter right hand on Lemieux that sent Lemieux back towards the ropes. Triple G would follow up with a left hook to the body and would jab Lemieux again to keep him away. Golovkin would then land a nice 1-2 combo on Lemieux, backing him up, and then it was once again back to the jab. Round 1 was a brilliant round for Golovkin. He showed great boxing ability and great defense.
Shot for Lemieux. But all in all, a Gennady Golovkin round dominated by his jab.
Golovkin would start round 2 off once again, meeting Lemieux in the center of the ring. He threw a jab, followed by a left hook, and landed both of them. Golovkin would then follow up, throwing a bunch of shots and landing 3 flush jabs on Lemieux, snapping his head back every time. Lemieux would then have a bull rush, where he came and threw bombs, but Golovkin would snap his head back with a jab that stopped Lemieux in his tracks. Lemieux would then land his first punch of the fight, a jab that moved Golovkin's head back a little. But for every punch that Lemieux landed, Golovkin would land 20. Probably every 10 seconds, Lemieux would get his head snapped back by a jab. Golovkin's determination, accuracy, and IQ was absolutely brilliant. Another great thing I noticed Golovkin doing was rolling his shoulder to deflect the straight rights from Lemieux. He was doing a terrific job at this, not getting hit once. He also was doing a great job at parrying Lemieux's jabs. With around 30 seconds left in round 2, he would catch Lemieux with a left hook right on the solar plexus that hurt Lemieux. Golovkin would then follow up.
Ropes, left hook for Golovkin. Right hand lands again. Phenomenal accuracy. Unbelievable accuracy early on for the Kazakhstan.
G would finish round 2 strong, landing a clean 1-2 combination with the right hand snapping Lemieux's head back. But Lemieux was a very tough guy, so he withstood it. But being tough doesn't help you against Golovkin. Round 2 was another masterclass. Every time I watch this fight, the more impressed I am with Golovkin's performance and the use of his jab. I know you may be thinking, it's just a jab, why is he talking about his jab so much? But the jab is the most important punch in boxing. It helps set up punches, keep you busy, keep the opponent off, and like 300 other things. And I've said it before, I've never seen a fighter in history have a better jab than Gennady Golovkin. Larry Holmes, Winky Wright, Floyd Mayweather, Vladimir Klitschko, and a few others come to mind when thinking of great jabs. But no one's is as powerful, accurate, and as punishing as Golovkin's. It's an extremely helpful tool he has in his arsenal, and you'll see later on when he fights better opposition how important it is. For him, it stuns and hurts guys, marks their face up, is a scoring punch, and most importantly, he always lands it. But he really does land against everybody. I remember seeing a sparring session where he sparred Tony Harrison, a good defensive fighter who beat Jermell Charlo, and he couldn't move away from it at all. There was so many jabs landed in this fight that I could go on forever, but enough of the rambling, let's get back into the action. Golovkin would of course dominate the round with his jab, and he would land 23 jabs that would snap Lemieux's head back. Going into the fourth, Golovkin had dominated Lemieux for 3 rounds. Lemieux is used to losing fights because he relies on his power, but this was absolute domination. Golovkin probably landed 100 punches at this point, while Lemieux hadn't even landed 10. Lemieux just couldn't come in to land punches because Golovkin's jab was so strong. Gennady could do this all night and win a decision if he wanted to, but he started to set up power punches in round 4. He caught Lemieux with a perfect left hook, and at the same time he would use his right glove to protect his face from Lemieux's left hook.
Land until they get hit.
You see the skills of Triple G. He throws a beautiful left hook while blocking a beautiful left hook at the same time. Lemieux threw his without defense, but Triple G threw his with absolute marvelous defense.
Lemieux was hurt, he backed up, and Golovkin would throw 2 stiff jabs and a hard right hand with all 3 of them landing. He then started to use his jab well again, and used it to snap Lemieux's head back and make him move and stumble all across the ring. He'd move him to the ropes and unleash vicious punches, but Lemieux stood up to them, but it wasn't a good look. After Lemieux survived the combo, Golovkin would go back to the jab and snapping Lemieux's head back in the middle of the ring. It was one of the best performances in boxing in recent memory. But still, Lemieux could land a bomb and end the fight at any moment. And after 4.5 rounds of being obliterated, the battered and bewildered Lemieux would land a hard, clean right cross on the ear of Golovkin. This would give Lemieux hope, and he would try to follow up, but Gennady didn't take this too kindly. He began to abuse Lemieux and make him wish he was never born. I don't think Golovkin likes Lemieux very much because he usually doesn't care when he gets hit. Golovkin would soon land a fight-ending shot right to the liver, and as you can see in the replays, he used the sharp part of his thumb to stick it in Lemieux's ribs, so I can't imagine how bad that had to hurt. So Lemieux went down, and on his way down, Golovkin hit him with a right hand. This definitely wasn't intentional, and it was more of an instinct, but let's pause right here. There's a lot going on in this moment. If you look at Golovkin's face, you can see he was in the zone. When referee Steve Willis came over to stop him, Golovkin's face was this cold, mean stare for a second, before he changed his facial expression and realized what was going on. Lemieux was a warrior, so he didn't fake anything and would get up, so there is no need for a point deduction or disqualification. But this was bad for Lemieux because Golovkin was going to go after him as soon as he got up. But there was only 5 seconds left of the round.
2 seconds left in the round.
Golovkin would also hit Lemieux after the bell, but I think this was also due to instinct. The doctors would check up on Lemieux before round 6 to make sure he was okay to continue, and he was. Now, a lot of people think this is the perfect time for Lemieux to catch Golovkin, because Golovkin sometimes gets careless after taking control of a fight. And this would actually be proven because Lemieux landed his perfect left hook less than a minute into round 6, but Golovkin wasn't bothered at all. Like I said, Lemieux can hurt anyone, but I don't think anyone can hurt Triple G. Lemieux would land a few other big punches in the round, but the thing is, Golovkin was also starting to land really big punches, and not just the jab. Even the jabs in this round were hitting really hard. Some of the jabs made Lemieux's whole body move back. In Lemieux's mind, you knew he definitely felt he had a chance because of how confident he is in his power, similar to the mindset of Deontay Wilder. But this was starting to get really bad, and we were only halfway through.
Again. Oh, good up. And a right hand uppercut to punctuate the round.
Some hard on Lemieux.
20 seconds into round 7, Triple G would land his best jab of the fight that broke Lemieux's nose. If you're wondering how I know this, it's because right after being hit with this jab, Lemieux did a little scratch at his nose, and blood began to pour from it. Golovkin would begin to break Lemieux's nose even more with the jab, and referee Steve Willis was making faces towards Lemieux, implying that if he didn't start fighting back, he would stop the fight. Golovkin would snap Lemieux's head back again with the jab, making more blood flow, and the referee decided to call time so the doctor could inspect Lemieux's nose. Lemieux would show that warrior mentality because while getting his nose checked out, he would say the entire time, "I'm okay, I'm okay." but the referee did decide it was okay for Lemieux to continue, so the fight started back up again. But around this time, I personally think the fight should have been stopped. Lemieux was missing every single punch he threw, and Golovkin was snapping his head back at will. With a minute left in the round, Golovkin would land a big right hand on Lemieux that sent him into the corner. Steve Willis was really close to stopping it here, but he didn't, and the punishment would continue. Golovkin would start bringing the body work in again, and it was truly brutal. Lemieux would make it out of round 7, but you could tell that the end was near.
He can't get away from the jab. Ish. He's going to fight Ish.
Golovkin would start to jab Lemieux's head off for the first minute of round 8. Then, when he started letting his body punches go, it was finished.
He's fought.
Exactly. Good right hand.
Hard left hook. Hammered Lemieux. Good right hand by Lemieux, but the uppercut by Golovkin drives him back into the ropes. The body shot hurt him again. Steve Willis is going to stop the fight. Technical knockout for Golovkin in the 8th.
Gennady Golovkin would make the 15th title defense of his WBA belt, and now add the IBF belt to his collection after beating number 5 ranked middleweight David Lemieux by 8th round knockout.